All right, shalom, shalom. Let's get straight to it. Now, today's lesson is going to be on. I'm getting feedback. I think it's somebody probably have to hit mute. All right. So this is on Second Esdras, chapter 5. We're gonna call this Tokens of the End Times, and we doing this today because we need to know these end prophecies in order to build up our faith. So part one, we going into Second Esdras chapter 5 in the main prophecy in that chapter, at least in the beginning verses there. And then on part two, we're going to talk about building up our faith, because knowing these prophecies is what's going to build up our faith. So I think this is very important because we know faith is a main ingredient to make it to the kingdom of heaven, New Jerusalem. We can't get in without faith. And the more we break down this lesson, we're going to see why faith is going to be extremely important in these last days. So normally I start right in the chapter, but let's just grab 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
It's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
It's gonna get crazy in these last days, man. Perilous times shall come. Even worse than what we have now. Things that we see now, obviously it's horrible, but as we're gonna read, it's gonna get way worse in these last days. And we gotta talk about these things so we don't be astounded and confounded when these things happen.
Good brother, could we read down just a little bit on that and on this chapter 3, just to expose some of the things that's going on as far as knowing that we're in those perilous times?
Let's go.
It's like it. Verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away.
That's it.
I thought you.
But
you got it.
I'll elaborate on it. Yeah, man. A lot of, we can see some of these things that's going on today. Unholy, proud. Which proud we know is the beginning of sin. Pride per se, without natural affection, meaning homo. Transgender. Pedophilia. False accusers. These are some of the things that's going on in the earth today at a high level. That's evident that we are in those perilous times. Are you?
Absolutely. Despisers of those that are good. That's why you can't get too confounded when you see somebody, family or friend, stranger, whatever the case. You tell them that you keep the commandments. You tell them that you don't do this anymore. You don't celebrate Halloween. You don't celebrate Christmas anymore. And what they do, they despise you. Like, you the one doing wrong. You the one going off. But I'm the one wrong. You despise me. That's false accusing too. Truce breakers. Those is, telling it all nowadays. Can't even trust them. Disobedient to parents. Unthankful. All right. Covetous, through social media. Everybody want everything everybody else already have, or at least allegedly have, on the camera. We could talk about that all day, because brother is right, man. This is definitely evidence that these things are taking place right now. All right. So let's start in Second Esdras chapter. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse 1.
It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
All right, so let's break this down. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens. So what's a token? It's a sign. All right, so when you get a token, it represents, a currency, or it represents something else. So a token is something that represents the end times, a sign per se. All right, let's get Psalms chapter 135 and 9.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 135 and verse 9. And it reads, who sent tokens and wonders in the midst of thee, O Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his servants?
Okay, who did that? That was the Most High. But what did he do? He sent wonders and signs in Egypt. All right, you had the different plagues that he sent with the locusts and the, everything that he did. We can go on into all the signs, but I'm pretty sure we know them. So that's what a token is. So nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, so we got to be looking for these things, looking for these signs. That's what we're about to talk about today. Behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in great number. What does that mean? Taken away, killed, destroyed. Yeah, it's going to get bad on this place called Earth, man. It's going to get real bad, in a great number. And we're going to talk more about the more we go down in this thing, but, it's going to be famine and pestilences, like the pestilence that we know that's going on right now, and death is going to be in abundance. All right. And the way of truth shall be hidden. All right. So let's talk more about that, the way of truth. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. So what is the truth? Let's get Psalms 119, 142. Let's get a classic real quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy law is the truth. So what does that mean? The law shall be hidden. All right, the way of truth. Man, it's gonna be crazy, man. You're not gonna be able to find the good word, man. It's gonna be so much destruction and stuff going on, man. Like you read about in First Maccabees, where in the first chapter, where they were burning the Bibles up, man. They were burning the scriptures up. All right. So that's what's going to happen again. All these things are going to come back on earth. All right. And just like, okay, and the land shall be barren of faith. The way of truth shall be hidden. So y'all remember us talking about the sun and the moon, what that represented in Revelation, the 12th chapter? So let's talk about these end times here in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. We're going to talk about that sun and moon.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them.
All right, so Solomon is saying, remember the Most High right now, before these perilous times come. We in them now, but before things get even worse, before the years draw nigh, remember the Most High now. Make haste to keep the commandments right now. Verse 2.
While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain.
Now you see that? Before the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened. So what does that represent? If the sun and the moon represents knowledge and wisdom, what does the darkening of the sun and moon represent? It represents the way of the truth being hidden.
Right there, wrong.
Con. So that's why.
Would that be synonymous for sin up?
Con. So sin is going to be in abundance because the truth is going to be hidden. All right. The way of the truth. So exactly right. Whenever the law is not present, that means sin is present. Right? Because the transgression of the law is sin. So if the law isn't there, then sin is there. All right. So that's what King Solomon is talking about right here, man. All right. Keep going to verse 3.
Verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened.
All right. So in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, who are the keepers of the house? That represents, you can think of that from a Congress standpoint, the House, the White House, the keepers of the house are the leaders of this current world. All right. They shall tremble. That's how bad it's going to get. They think they high and mighty now. When Jacob's trouble kick off, when the sun and the moon not gives his light, they going to tremble themselves, and strong men shall bow themselves. All right. Those that liken themselves to be strong men, they're going to bow themselves, man. They going to know what to do. All right. And the grinders cease because they are few. And we talked about this before, I believe. What Jake say when he out here working, man? He grinding. So the grinders, the laborers are going to cease because there are few. I mean, why would you go to a job if, all this stuff is going on? Labor is going to decrease. It's going to be a wasteland. All right. And those that look out the windows be darkened. So think about it, that represents, looking out of the window to see light, to see the future. So you're looking out the window and it's dark and you have no hope. So hope is going to be lost. All right. And we can continue, but we got the point there. All right. So that's just more on the end times. Solomon is telling us to get right before you even come down to this. All right. Let's get Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 11.
It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 11. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation, and the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear.
All right, so the sun and the moon stood still in their habitation. So you have to understand that there's a light, the righteous light, that's on the right-hand side. That's Yahweh Shai. That represents the light, the day star. And then on the left-hand side, you have a light. That's what Lucifer means. Lucifer means the light bringer. All right. So that's a light on the left-hand side. So they have a sun and a moon as well. That's going to stand still in its habitation. Why? Because all of this wickedness that Esau is doing, the so-called white man is doing now and has done, is going to be revealed. All right. They won't be able to lie to you no more because it's going to be all out there. All the lies you hear about on the media, it's going to be exposed. It's getting exposed more and more and more, by their own devices. They put out YouTube. Now, people on YouTube cutting them. They created TikTok. People on TikTok cutting them from their own devices, man. So, it is more things like we read about in Revelation 12, how the earth helps the woman. As more things are discovered, they light is going to stand still in its habitation. All right. So I was talking about that light on the left-hand side. All right. So, the Most High works in a just balance. So all the things that's going to be going on the right-hand side, the persecution of the children of Israel, their light is also going to stand still in its habitation. All right. And light of thine arrows, they went at the shining of the glittering spear. It's a different breakdown, but basically that's going to the chariots again. All right. Let's get Proverbs 6 and 23.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
You said the law is what?
The law is light.
The law is light. All right. So that's what we're dealing with here. That light standing still in its habitation, that law, again, on the right and the left-hand side, because they're going to be exposed, man. And we're going to talk about, on the right-hand side later on in this chapter, what that means for us. All right. So let's get in the land. Oh yeah, let's finish off verse 1. And the land shall be barren of faith. And that's why I wanted to go into this, man, because think about this. You got all these different signs going on. All right, you got total destruction. You got the internet going down. You got, the cell phone tower was going out. You go to the store, the shelves empty. You got the roads collapsing. You got cars running to each other. All this chaos and madness going on. The land is going to be barren of faith. Now, Lord willing, when we see these things, we know it's written. So that means our faith will increase. Because wow, Most High prophesied this. I know this. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 5. Now your faith increased because now things have been made manifest on earth. But if you don't know 2nd Esdras chapter 5 or, the other chapters as well, now your faith is going to be barren, right? Because you haven't read this before. It's coming out of nowhere. You have faith in this society. You believed in Joe Biden. You believed in Trump. You voted. All right. And then this place just go to waste. You ain't gonna believe no more, man. At least your so-called belief. All right. Let's go up so y'all can see it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 29.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 29. For the hope of the unfaithful shall melt away as the winters hoar frost, and shall run away as unprofitable water.
All right. The hope of the unfaithful shall melt away as a winter's hoarfrost. All right. So you see, their faith and their hope is going to melt away. All the people that claim they're Christians now, especially these people that don't even practice the doctrine they claim to believe in, like going to church and paying tithes and stuff, them people, man, they're going to be done for if they don't, come on this end, they're going to be done for. They hope is going to be melted away. All right. And run away as unprofitable water. All right. And we know that's on a spiritual level as well. the water, the living water, be unprofitable to them. All right. So another classic verse. Let's get Luke chapter 18 and verse 7.
The book of Luke, chapter 18 and verse 7. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them?
Let's get verse 8 is the point.
Verse 8, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth?
When Yahweh shall come back, because, you know, at this point, he's on earth. So when he said, when the Son of Man cometh, he's talking about his second return, because he already there right now. So on his second return, shall he find faith on the earth? Will there be any faith left, man? As we see, the land is going to be barren of faith, except for those that truly believe. All right. So if you was half stepping, you know, and your faith wasn't built up at that point or up until that point, you're going to be exposed, man. That's why you got to be hot or cold. Because when it comes down to that, you know, when the land becomes barren and all this chaos and madness going on, you ain't got the internet no more. You know, your cash means nothing no more. Credit means nothing no more. You know, famines. You're going to have faith. That's the only thing you can rely on. All right. So Yahweh Shai saying, will he find faith on earth? All right. And it's only going to be you know, the elect that will have that faith. All right. Brothers want to add anything?
Shoot out you in the spirit, because I was gonna, you know, that was a precept that I was gonna grab, you know, myself, but you in the spirit.
Con. Yeah, you know, that's one of our favorite verses out. All right. So let's get 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21.
Good. It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
So it's better not to have any faith at all, that never had known the Most High, never had kept the commandments or came into the knowledge, came into the truth. It's better to never have done that than have came into the truth and then fall out of it, man. You know, and that's what's going to happen in these last days. More and more people just going to start falling out. All right, just want to expound on that.
Slop. I precept something out based on what you brought out earlier. That, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to necessarily be lukewarm in this thing. We can bring out Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. You may already have it.
Oh no, Ak, you got it.
Con. We'll read through verse 16.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 3 and verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
So basically it's going into, you know, he's going to kill you, you know, because you're not really in this thing. You know, you're halfway in, halfway out. You know, Christ says right here that he wished you were either cold, you know, if just be all the way out, you know, just be in the world, living your best life, you know what I'm saying, or be all the way in this thing, man. You can't, you know, you can't be lukewarm, basically, man. You know, that's basically what the brother was just bringing out. I believe that was in 2 Peter. You know, that's you know, that's what that's going into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, that's why you got to be as hot as you can be right now, man, because, and that's what you're trying for anyway. But man, the worse this thing get, man, you know, you want to already be hot. You want to already be hot. Now let's go ahead and get verse 2.
It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 5, and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago.
So iniquity is going to get so bad that it's going to be worse than all these different accounts that we have in the scriptures, man. So we know about the iniquity of the Egyptians, of the Assyrians, of the Greeks, of the Romans. You know, we just talked about, you know, that nasty Roman that tried to kill Yahweh before he was even born. So-called Herod the Great. But the iniquity that's coming is going to be increased above which thou hast heard long ago. All right, so it's going to be even worse than what we've seen thus far. And we've seen, you know, a ton of iniquity, a ton of innocent blood.
I got a precept out.
Bring up
Psalms 38, verses 18 through 20.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 38, and verse 18. For I will declare mine iniquity. I will be sorry for my sin.
So those who are truly aware of what is going on, they are gonna turn from that sin. Read on.
But my enemies are lively, and they are strong, and they that hate me wrongfully are multiplied.
Hey, but the thing we had turned from, it is gonna turn all the way up. They are gonna be multiplied, because sin will be multiplied. Read.
They also that render evil for good are mine adversaries, because I follow the thing that is good.
And
the good is Salakia.
And we are gonna be at on war with the sinners of the world, and that counts heathen and our people too.
Great point all the way through. Great precept.
Salah. Really on a minute level, we're kind of there right now with this whole vaccinated with unvaccinated thing.
That's exactly what we about to talk about too. Exactly. Yep.
It's like, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead.
No. I was just saying. No. All good. Y'all bring it out. So, just on the brother's point right there, let's get Psalms chapter 64 and verse 1. We'll start at verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 1. A chief musician, a song of David. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
Okay, let's see who the enemy is. Keep going.
Hide me the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
So now let's see what these workers of iniquity, some of their traits, man, because like the brother just said, man, we in these times right now, we dealing with a bunch of workers of iniquity, whether we realize it or not, and it's an insurrection. All right, they're trying to take over. Keep going.
Verse 3, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Even bitter words. Who got the most bitter words that you know? The alphabet community, man. They call you the worst stuff you might even have to look up. You look up, you
You're
just say, Con. Yeah, you transphobic, misogynist, rapist,
bigot.
what else say? Bigot. Man, what else they throw out, man? All these little different Babylonian terms that they throw out, man.
Cisgender men need to stop hating on other people and all that. Just love everyone.
Yeah, man. One of these monsters look you dead in the face, knowing it's a man with a wig on, and then call you crazy. That's a work of iniquity, man. If you 6'7", 250, and you try to ball out on the women, man, you a worker of iniquity, man.
And,
You
and they expect you to treat them like a comely and delicate woman, but your hands are as rough as mine. Get out of here.
stop it. They tongue is like a sword, man, because they got them insults ready like a dagger. They shooting them out, man. They got the most bitter words that every time somebody say something, here they come. This is disgusting. I just can't believe that I heard Boosie say. And look, man, all that nonsense, man.
Hey,
Keep
they
going. Oh,
don't want you choose to make it trendy. It's the homophobia for me.
oh my gosh. If I hear a mug say that, the homophobia for me. It's a Psalms 64:3 for me. Keep going up.
Verse 4.
Bring it out.
Verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
See, they shoot at the righteous, man. They fear not because the society is behind them. So they have no fear because they know that they have, backing. They know that they can go off on you and call you whatever, but they good. Like every time you hear about somebody, social media getting taken away, it's always because they saying something in opposition to the narrative that they give you. You'll never see anybody, supporting Biden saying something that's getting taken off, on Facebook or Twitter, whatever the case. Every time you hear about one of these cases, it's because you're saying something about quote unquote transgenders or homosexuals and things like that. It's never the opposite. And they can say whatever they want. They can literally call you anything but a word found in this good book, but it's all good.
Hey,
Con.
but then they'll try to counsel you for any and everything, but go around preaching that we all have a freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You can do what you want when you want. Well, why can't I go by the Bible?
Exactly. It's just like we always say with my body, my choice. That's what they told us, right? When it came to abortion, my body, my choice. But then now we got mandatory vaccinations. What happened to that? My body, my choice. That's what they do, man. They shoot in secret at the perfect, man. And fear not. Keep going.
Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. Then they say, who shall see them?
Because they be knowing what they're doing for real. They know what they're doing for real. And they encourage each other in that evil matter, man. They have crafty counsel. The transgenders, the homophobics. I mean, no, that's what they call us, quote unquote. The homosexuals, they have crafty counsel. They be trying to figure out stuff to say, shoot them arrows out. Keep going.
Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, but the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Wow. You got to be wicked to search out iniquity. Wow. Keep going.
Verse 7, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
All praises. All praises to the Most High.
Oh, praises.
Praises.
All right. So we just wanted to go into the workers of iniquity, man. So we know what we're looking at in these last days, man. Because that's what we're facing right now.
Salat.
Con.
Real quick. Psalms 62:9.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 9. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity.
So these are lower level heathens who are carrying out these thoughts and beliefs and these and this overall plan of the higher level heathens who are actually orchestrating everything going on. Both the low man and the high man, when you weigh them in the balance of judgment, they are both come to naught.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get the point again real quick. Read verse 2 one more time so we can get back on the point.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago.
All right. Now we got that. Let's get Revelation chapter 18. And let's start at 4. We got to get the classic.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Leave that whore alone. Excuse my language, but this is written in the Bible. Leave that harlot alone, man. All right, keep going, verse 5.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities.
So remember, we talked about the analogy when we see heaven, her sins have reached into the heaven. That's the highest it can go. All right, so the sins of this place, Babylon the Great, is reached to this highest extent. All right, so it's going to continue to get worse and worse, reach up into heaven. And the Most High is going to remember everything, of course, because it's being written, it's being documented. All right, and that's why these things are befalling the earth and will continue to, because the Most High is taking record. Now, when you see the prophecy, you see the Most High already knew this was going to happen, man. That's why he wrote it out for us. All right, he knew the so-called white man was going to go crazy, man. I already knew it. Yeah, I said knew it. All right, let's get verse 3.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 3. And the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly.
Hey, a wasteland, man. You know, looking like this or something. Buildings, skyscrapers. I don't know how that one's still up, but buildings and skyscrapers just demolished, man. Roads closed down, 65 shut down, 459 going the other way. Just all type of turmoil, man. All right. It's going to be looking crazy. It's going to be wasted. That's why I said wasted, man. It's going to be a wasteland. Let's get another witness. So Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1.
Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 24 and verse 1. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down.
Maketh it waste. Oh, con.
And turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof.
Yeah, so this place is gonna be turned upside down, man. Everybody gonna be scattering around because this place is gonna be a waste. All right. Jump down. Verse 2 is basically telling us that it's for everybody. Jump down to verse 3.
Verse 3. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord has spoken this word.
See? All right. This land gonna be utterly empty and spoiled. All right. Meaning destruction. All right. And wasted. Again, it's gonna be a wasteland. All this concrete and stuff that's not supposed to be on here, man, it's gonna be turned up. All right. And let's grab this since we already here. Verse 5.
Verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Why be? So the law done away with, but the reason all this is going on is because they have transgressed the laws. That don't seem to add up. But yeah, man, have y'all seen the movie I Am Legend? You know, you have Will Smith out there. He thought he was the only person alive from a cure, aka a vaccine that was administered to the people for cancer and end up killing like 99% of the planet Earth. All right. And I'm not proclaiming that's what's going to happen with the vaccine or anything like that. I'm just saying that's literally what happened in the movie. But it was a wasteland, man. You know, all these cars just stopped in a row, nobody in them. You know, all these different type of things going on. You know, Esau, he's read the scriptures. That's why he has these movies out like this, man, because he's just reading a prophecy and, you know, trying to program people to know what's going on, what's going to happen. Thus saith the Lord. Like it said right here in verse 3. All right. So let's go ahead and get verse 4.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
So that's if the Most High grant you to live. And you see that this is obviously something reserved only for, you know, a certain few, because, you know, why would it be worded like this? If the Most High grant thee to live. So it's obviously going to be a blessing to even be alive in those days. All right, thou shalt see after the third trumpet. All right, what is the third trumpet? Let's get that. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 8. And then for the sake of time, let's just go to verse 10.
The book of Revelations, chapter 8 and verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of the waters.
All right, so we just getting what the third trumpet is, because we probably need a whole Revelation 8 breakdown. But when we see the third angel sounded, that's a trumpet. There fell a great star from heaven. Remember, we talked about that word heaven, not always referring to the third heaven. So what is this talking about? A nuclear missile, man. Burning as it was a lamp. Because if you ever seen a missile or like videos of it, it looks just like a shooting star or something, nuclear missiles. That's why it's burning as a lamp. I know that may be hard to deal with for, some of us here, but I'm just telling you what's written. All right, but we'll go over this again, Lord willing. But that's what that third trumpet is. So that's why it's going to be a blessing to even be alive at this time, man, because nuke's going to be going out and everything. I told you it's going to be all kind of chaos, man. All right. The sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. So remember, we talked about how the truth, the truth shall be hidden. That's why I say the sun shall suddenly shine again, because, it's going to be darkness from a physical level and from a spiritual level. But the knowledge is going to come back. It's going to shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. All right, let's get Job 18:5.
It's the book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine.
Give verse 6 as well.
Verse 6, the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him.
So that represents the left-hand side, the wicked. Their light, that moon, there's the sun and the moon standing still in its habitation. All right, the light is going to be put out, because all those lies, like I said, all the lies, it's going to be, it's going to be shown. They're going to be naked. All right. If y'all, got ears to hear, and naked meaning they're going to be exposed. That's what happened with Adam and Eve. Weren't literally naked. They were exposed. All right. And so-called white man, he's going to be naked out here, man. All his different devices is going to be brought to the light. Yahushua told us that, right? What happens in the light must come to the day. All right. So let's get verse 5.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 5. The blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled.
All right, so from what I can take from this, the blood shall drop out of the wood. Now we know that men are likened into trees, right? So, from my estimation, from my understanding, this is what this is referring to. And the people shall be troubled. Again, going to the same thing we talked about: no internet, famines, different plagues. People gonna be troubled. All right, let's get verse 6.
Verse 6. And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowls shall take their flight away together.
And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowls shall take their flight away together. Anybody know who these fowls are referring to? Let's just get it real quick in Matthew chapter 13, and let's start at verse 31.
The book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 31. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field.
All right, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. All right, keep going.
Verse 32, which indeed the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest amongst herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
All right, see that? So the mustard seed is small. If you ever seen one, it's tiny. All right. But once it's sown, it's the greatest among herbs. Who does that represent? The children of Israel. All right, because right now we like a mustard seed. We a joke, the laugh, the shaking of the heads of the people. Like it says in the book of Psalms, man. We the laughing stock of the planet Earth right now. All right. We like the mustard seed. But once it's sown, once we get our power back, all right, we become the greatest among all nations, and it won't be a close second. And the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. The branches, men are likened unto trees. Who are the birds? The other nations. Okay. The only nations that is even going to make it on the other end, on the other side, not to be permitted in the kingdom, but for hard slavery, is going to be those that cleave into the children of Israel. Those are the fowls. All right, those are the birds of the air, if that makes sense. Hopefully that wouldn't, hopefully that makes sense to y'all. All right. So the fowl should take away their flight away together. All the nations gonna realize, okay, this nation of people way different than us. All right, let's get verse 7.
Verse 7. And the Sodomitish sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night, which may have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof.
Con. So what's a sodomite? Someone. Con.
He says this.
Oh, I hear you. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, basically someone showing unnatural affection.
Exactly. Both answers are acceptable. So the sodomites, and they out here, man, in abundance. The sodomitish sea. So we know the nations are likened to rivers or to seas. So the sodomitish sea, all those that partake in any of that nonsense, man, it don't have to be just homosexuality, the pedophilia, the bestiality, the incest, you part of that sodomitish sea. If you dwell in these things, shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night. Men are likened into fish as well. All right. Especially the men of the Lord. Because a fish can only dwell in water. And it says here, the sea shall cast them out. What happens when you cast out a fish? Suffocate and die. It has to have the sea in order to live. Just like a sodomite has to have a sodomitish sea, that fish to live. You tell one of these cats, they can't be they can't be gay, man. They cast out. They'll drown, man. Make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. And man, that's another part of this thing, man. People are gonna be screaming and yelling, man. You be in a house and somebody sound like they're in the opera next door, man. Be yelling and screaming. It's gonna be crazy, man. Let's get Isaiah 9 and 5.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
All right, so every battle of the warriors with a confused noise. That's what the sodomites, man. They have a confused noise. Some of you never heard before. Man, you yelling like that? Yeah. What's going on, man? But you see, this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right, it's going back into the missiles, man. All right, the nukes, what they call them, ICBMs, the intercontinental, ballistic missiles. All right. So all these different type of plays is going to be on Earth. nation gonna rise against nation. So you're gonna have America nuking itself, nuking its own people. All right, it's gonna be crazy. I think I have something else. Yeah, okay. 1 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 12.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 5 and verse 12. And the men that died not were smitten with emerods, and the cry of the city went up to heaven.
See, man, when it's all type of destruction, man, the cry go up into heaven. That's that strange noise, man. All right. That many have not known. They should all hear the voice thereof. The cries gonna go up into heaven. All right, proverbially speaking. Let's get verse 8.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be offset out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and the monstrous women shall bring forth monsters.
All right, that's a lot there. There shall be a confusion also in many places, like we've been talking about, man. Because, just taking the internet away alone is going to be, chaos in itself. Who knows if that's what they're trying to test drive when, Facebook and Instagram went down the other day. Who knows, man? You never know with these people. They could be installing a program in that thing to, wreak some havoc later on. You never know with these demons, man. But anyway, it's gonna be confusion. The fire shall be offset out again. We just got that Isaiah 9 and 5. And the wild beasts shall change their places. So look at this real quick. Wildlife roams during the coronavirus pandemic. As billions of people across the planet have retreated indoors to combat the spread of coronavirus, wildlife roams more freely. So you had, during the quote unquote pandemic, as you see, it was earlier on when a lot of people were in, man, you had jackals, man, just coming on out, man. You had this abomination just walking out. Esau, he still, he used to this. They one and the same, so he chilling, but they out. Mountain lions out. These animals gonna be all over the place too, man. They gonna be migrating and all in the city and all this different type of stuff as well. They're probably gonna be slaying people left and right too. All right, they're gonna change their places from the wild to the cities, man. And that was a little bit of that here. Little foxes. I ain't know they get that little. You step on them little mugs, man. Dang, look at this dolphin right here by the city. That's crazy. He trying to get in and put him some in stores. Sea lion. All right. Sea lions just chilling out on the road, waiting on Uber. All right, you're gonna have stuff like that. Monkeys coming out. There's probably Esau in there, so he used to it. But anyway, all right. Mistress women shall bring forth monsters. All right. Just imagine having a kid at this time when all this chaos going on, man. You might come out wicked. They might come out wicked, man. Let's get Sirach 16 and 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 16 and verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons.
So unprofitable children, monsters, man. All right, in those days. All right, so
It's a lot. Hey, also this one probably doesn't relate fully to this verse, but you all notice people started calling babies born during this period, pandemic babies, and like some of these kids are like standing up straight after being born like 2 weeks back, and like they someone got like these like weird like quirks that like you won't see and be like, a baby this young shouldn't be doing these things. Just a side point there.
Man, that's crazy, man. You know, that could be the, you know, could be the monsters, man. But I do know too, that is a good point. It is crazy, like think about it. You know, a lot of these kids being born, you know, they first image that they gonna remember is people wearing masks and stuff, man. You know, vast majority of people wearing masks, all this little different nonsense going on. So
I saw this post where on someone's quote unquote pandemic baby didn't see a dog until they were like one.
see, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so we'll wrap it up there for today. And then on the next lesson, we'll finish up in this chapter. And then chiefly, I want to talk about faith because the reason, again, that we going into all this is so that we can increase our faith. All right. And when all this is going on, again, faith is going to be most important. All right. When you ain't even got no food to eat to keep the dietary law, you know, you're gonna have to have some strong faith, man. So we're gonna get into that next time, but I yield.